Well, late this summer, Newcap News got an exclusive look at a training exercise for reservists in the Canadian Armed Forces at CFB Wainwright. After months of training in both the classroom and in the field, it was time to put everything they learned to use as they prepared for a mock battle. Here's a preview of what you can expect.
3, 2, 1. Right, okay. Door check left. Door check. 3, 2, 1. Door clear. Door clear. Room clear. Room clear.
We are part-time soldiers. I'm a reservist as well, even though I work full-time. But for most of these people, they have family, career, and they still take the time out to serve one night a week, one weekend a month, sometimes more. Volunteering for operations, most recently in Afghanistan or in small missions around the world. It's the citizen soldier of Canada.
We came off a kick-ass attack yesterday. The guys have been driving it really hard, so it's been a good X for us.
Our 3-part military series on Exercise Belligerent Grizzly will air this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on Newcap News at 5 p.m. on CKSA and 6 p.m. on CITL. Well, an exciting time for residents of Edam as tours were given of the new Edam Enriched Manor over the weekend. It has been a little over a year since the community broke ground on the building, and now the senior housing facility is nearly complete. Anna Stanislaw has the story.
I think they've got it covered.
Adorned with decorative fixtures and fully furnished bedrooms, Joyce Day is impressed with the new assisted living care facility.
I think it's a necessity here, actually. There's becoming more and more people that are seniors here in Edam, and I think it's an absolute necessity to have a place where it can bridge the gap.
There's 26 units in the building. We have 1-bedroom suites as well as bachelor suites available. We're providing recreational activities. We're providing the meals and the snacks. We want this facility to be like their home and feel like they can come and go and they have free will to do whatever they like.
Edam Enriched Manor has been 8 years in the making. It's for seniors aged 55 and older. Facility manager Aaron Malloy says the community is happy with the new addition and a great asset to the long-term residents.
It's transitioning people from their house to an area that they can feel safe and secure in.
I've worked in the long-term care field before, and I find that there's definitely a gap between those who are able to stay by themselves and those who are needing constant 24-hour care.
Construction will soon be complete, and Malloy says there are still rooms available.
They're telling us that the staff will be starting around the beginning of November, and our move-in date for all the tenants is going to be November 15th.
If you were a single woman and you wanted to have just a very small suite, it provides all your needs.
The project cost a total of $3.5 million. Anna Stanislaw, Newcap News.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, many drivers are flocking to tire shops to get winter tires on their vehicles, but another helpful tool to have this winter is a car starter. Fraser Snowden has more on what to watch for when purchasing one for your vehicle.
There are many choices in how you want the starter to work. Some may come factory installed like this one, but if that's not the case, you will have to get it installed.
One of the main things in that to keep in mind is if you want a 1- or 2-way, certainly that affects the price in the end. The 1-way is a remote that will communicate to the vehicle, but not back to the remote. So really the only way to know what's going is to look outside the window. You can program them, time it.
The 2-way option allows you to see what your car is doing and control more. Once you've decided which type you want, you then have to purchase the kit, which comes in 3 parts.
To the 1-way, as we talked about earlier, the basic setup, you look at about $800 installed on the new guys because of the additional hardwiring. For the 2-way, which is the one that communicates back, you look at about $1,050, $1,050.
Show me when it's fired up. And then
An option that is becoming more popular as technology prevails is a remote start that communicates directly with your smartphone.
out in the field, I'll be on my way home with one of the pieces of equipment that I run, and I'll start my truck half an hour before I get there, and when I get there it's nice and warm and good to go.
With 1- and 2-way remotes, the signal needs you close to your car, but the smartphone option allows you to start it from anywhere, as long as there's a cell phone signal.
I've been in the US and flown out of Vegas. And as we were flying out, I started my truck. When I got back, they were asking questions why my truck was running. So,
regardless of whichever starter you choose, any one of them will allow you to warm up your car in the cold winter months. In Cold Lake, Fraser Snowden, Newcap News.
Well, time once again for Retrospect, this week from the archives. Now our weekly look back at news events from the past. This time, Brian Hardy brings us a story of the progress of the bi-provincial upgrader. As well, we take a look back to a visit by the Prime Minister aimed at keeping the country together.
This week in 1992, Brian Mulroney arrives on a mission.
The Prime Minister began his final constitutional pitch alongside Saskatchewan Premier Roy Romanow and local MPs Don Mazankowski and Bill McKnight. A mainly partisan crowd of nearly 700 people gathered at Lakeland College. They were there to hear Brian Mulroney's final attempt to get Canadians to vote yes in Monday's national referendum.
As Sir John A. Macdonald said 125 years ago, let us be English or let us be French, but above all, let us be Canadians.
And as he left, Mulroney said despite the outcome of Monday's referendum, he will lead his Conservative Party into the next election. Chris Krieger, NewsHour.
It's early November 1990, and construction on the new upgrader is full steam ahead.
15% of the total construction at the upgrader is complete. Most of the foundation work is in the ground. A number of the large storage tanks are going up, and crews are presently finishing underground pipelines. The main concern right now is completion of the primary utility building. The building will eventually contain 2 boilers and water treatment facilities. 2 hydrocrackers, the heaviest pieces of equipment to be used on site, were constructed in Japan and have already sailed to Duluth, Minnesota.
When they actually travel by rail in Canada, they will be the heaviest loads ever transported by rail in North America.
The first of the 2 hydrocrackers is expected to arrive by rail in late December. Husky officials say the only real problem they've encountered thus far is a concern for safety, and they're working on a plan to change that. Michael Higgins, NewsHour.
Join us next time when we revisit the night of the meteorite on Retrospect, this week from the archives.